You are now tuning into a drop of melancholy. If you are in a good mood and wish to remain so, do not watch this video.
Men are walking away. Men are saying fuck it, let it all collapse. Men are not doing the things they used to do. Men are just not caring. They're leaving their jobs. They're playing their video games. They're focusing on their hobbies. They're starting their own business, making a lot of money from their own business, and just saying, to hell with society. Let's talk about it. Now, all this stuff I'm getting ready to talk about, you can research it, but if you live in an area like me, just being out in society, being out in public, you can see all this as it pan out. Everything that I'm going to talk about, you can see it play out in real time in society. Just by being out in public. With men leaving the jobs and just not doing the things they used to do. Let's look at the military. Let's look at the military, for example. Since 1950, I think they were saying, since the year 1950, these are the lowest numbers we had in terms of volunteering for the military. So recruiters, okay, people that are recruiting for the military, like Navy recruiters, Army recruiters, Marine recruiters, Air Force, whatever, no one's going to these recruiter stations to sign up for the military. No one's doing it. Back in the day, you couldn't stop young men from going into these recruiter stations to sign up. Okay, people are just that patriotic. People care just that much about their country. Even back in the day when I joined the military. All right, back in 2003, you couldn't stop young men from going to the recruiter station to sign up. People are actually excited to join the military back then. Now, recruiters are struggling just to meet their quota. Just to meet their quota, because no one's signing up. So that's another example right there. No one's signing up. This is literally the lowest we've been in decades. In decades. So what does that tell us right there? If a global conflict was to happen, then what does that tell us? They would have to reinstate a draft because no one's signing up. They don't have the manpower to support the war effort. So they would have to reinstate a draft. See, they would have to. There's no way around it. And what they're doing, they have to offer these, just to get people to sign up, they have to offer these incentives. They have to offer these big sign-in bonuses just to make people want to join, because no one's joining, no one's signing up. And you have to do your research to find out this information, because they're just not gonna put this on mainstream media or anything like that. Okay, you have to actually dig and research this information, because they're not just gonna put it out like that. They're not gonna do that. Okay, but that's what's going on. No one's even signing up for the armed forces right now. Not the way it was, at least. All right, they're having a hard time. They're struggling trying to get people to join the military. And then the people that are in, they're getting out. Like a lot of guys I served with, they're not staying in. And a lot of them, what's happening, they're getting their contracts extended by the military. The military want to hold on to people. So that's what's happening. So again, that's just another example that a lot of men, and these are men, by the way. This is largely the men that's not signing up. They're just saying, the hell with it. All right. So this is another example. A lot of these guys, they're just done. They're done with society. They see all the fuckery that's going on, and they don't want no part of it. So yeah, if something were to happen, then that would be the only way they could get the manpower, by reinstating the draft. Men are leaving the workforce in droves, and they're not going to report this on the mainstream media. You got to look this stuff up. But men are leaving the workforce in record numbers, and they're not looking for work. And yes, these men are able to make money. Okay, they're making money through different ways, whether they start their own business, whatever it is they decide to do, they're not working for no workforce. They're not working for no corrupt system. They're not working no 9 to 5, no lame 9 to 5, waking up every day, doing some shit you don't want to do and be underappreciated. And I know people don't like what I say because a lot of people work 9 to 5 jobs and they come to this channel and they don't like what I say. Well, obviously this video isn't for you, so I don't know why you watch in the first place. This video is for people that think like me, that don't want to work a 9 to 5, that think that you put in all this work, but you get next to nothing in return. People like that. So if you're comfortable working a 9 to 5, then good on you. Good on you. You're better than me. You're much better than me because I wouldn't be able to do it. See? Because I don't want to do it. Because I did it and it never panned out. All right, it caused more harm than good. And then you got people that be saying stuff like, you need to contribute to society. You shouldn't be lazy. You need to be the type to contribute to society. I hear people say that in real life, on social media, YouTube. People say stuff like that, and I'd be like, for what? Contribute for what? What kind of society are you contributing to? This is the same society. If you don't pay your rent, you already know what's gonna happen. If you don't pay your rent, your mortgage, you think they're gonna be lenient with you? They're gonna put your ass on the street, rain or shine. In the middle of summer, 102 degrees, you don't pay that mortgage, that rent, whatever it is you got, they can put your ass on the street. They don't give a shit about you. You got a house full of kids, you don't pay your light bill, what's gonna happen? Y'all already know. Y'all already know. They're gonna shut your lights off. You got a house full of kids, whatever. They don't give a shit. This is the same society you talk about contributing to, though. All right, it's all good when you playing their game. It's all good then. When you stop doing that, then it's a problem. They're gonna kick your ass out on the street. If it's 5 degrees outside, they don't care putting you out on the street. And you think being homeless is easy? Being homeless ain't easy either. Being homeless is probably just as hard. Like, for example, the area I live, okay, like the local fast food joints, Wendy's, Burger King, you know what they do? All that leftover food, they throw it in the dumpster. What happened? Homeless people start going in the dumpster and eating it. Perfectly fine food. People start going in the dumpster and eating it just to survive. You know what those joints started doing? You know what Burger King and Wendy's started doing? They kept throwing their food away, all their leftover food. They kept throwing that away, but what they started doing, they started pouring grease and oil over it. They started pouring grease, oil, or whatever kind of nasty liquid. They would pour it on that leftover food just to prevent the homeless people from eating it. See? So they couldn't even go in there and get a meal because they would ruin it with oil and grease and whatever else, just all kind of nasty liquid. They would pour on that leftover food just to prevent those people from getting a meal. See? So even if you're homeless, they ain't gonna make that easy for you either. So all these people that's saying you need to contribute to society, contribute for what? This is the same society that don't give a shit about you. If you fall on hard times, maybe it wasn't your fault you became homeless. Maybe you got hurt, you got laid off. Anything can happen. But they don't give a shit about that. You ain't playing their little game, they're gonna make it hard for you. And that's what they do. They pour oil and grease so you can't eat that food. See? So all these men that's giving up, well, not giving up, but all these men that's withdrawing from this system, from the workforce, good. I'm glad they are. And they should. They should. 100%. And if the shit just so happened to collapse eventually, good. So all these men that's walking away and they ain't looking for work and they just want to leech off society, I don't blame them. Good on them. Good on them. All right. This society leech off you. You out here doing all this work. You're getting paid next to nothing. You can barely pay your bills as it is. Society leeching off you every day. All right. These men are waking up and they say, what's the reward? What's the reward? So that's why they walking away. Why you think they doing it in the first place? They doing it just for fun? No, they ain't doing it just for fun. It's a reason. And I just told you the reason. So good. If more men wake up to this and start doing it and society collapse, I think society needs to collapse. All right, because these men feel underappreciated. They feel underappreciated. Men get shitted on in the court system. All right, life always been harder for men. So they're like, all right, bet. We'll pull out, sit back and just watch it all collapse. We'll watch it all fall down. And that's what they're doing. And that's what's gonna happen. All right, that's what's gonna happen. Like I said, don't let a war break out, because they're gonna have to reinstate a draft, because they don't got enough people to support something like that the way things are now. I don't blame all these guys for leaving their job and not going back. Let it collapse. It need to collapse. All right, all these guys, they're not telling you how many men are leaving these jobs. I reported on this last year, and this year the number went up even more. All right, but they're not gonna tell you that on the mainstream media, because they don't want more guys to hear it and do the same thing. But they don't need to hear it, because they're figuring it out on their own. All right, all these men are leaving. They're leaving the workforce in record numbers. All right. If this trend keeps up, what do you think is going to happen? And then on top of that, okay, so you got all these guys leaving these jobs. They don't want to contribute to society no more. They don't want to participate in the workforce. They don't want to work a lame 9 to 5, and they are lame. Another thing I notice, when I go out in town and I observe, I look at people, I have not seen a pregnant woman within the last 3 months. It's probably been longer than that. It's probably been more like 4 months. Whether I'm in North Florida or Central Florida, I have not seen a single pregnant woman within about 4 months. Whether that's the mall, anywhere, the mall, Costco, Sam's Club, hell, even Walmart or anywhere else. Okay, downtown, I have not seen a single pregnant woman. And that's another thing they're not going to tell you. Birth rates are down. Birth rates are down. Okay, so you got all these men leaving the workforce. You got all these men not joining the military. And now you got all these men not knocking women up. All right, they're not getting women pregnant. And I spoke to a few other people about this, saying, hey, you know what I noticed? I don't notice that many pregnant women like I used to back in the day. Like back in the 90s, you see pregnant women all the time. Now, no. Birth rates are down across the board. Okay. And the other person I was speaking to is like, yeah, that's right. I didn't think of that. They agreed, and it's true. So that should tell you something right there. Okay, men aren't getting women pregnant. Men aren't getting into relationships. Just people in general not doing that as much as they used to. I mean, you still see it, but it's not the way it used to be. But without a doubt, the birth rates are down, because you don't even see pregnant women like that, like you used to. You really don't. Everywhere you go. I don't mean just one place. I mean, whatever city you go, you don't see it like you used to. You just don't. All right. And I'm sure it's causing the government to panic. It's causing all these higher ups to panic. Because who's going to feed the system? See? Who's going to feed the system? That's all they want. They want the next wave of workers. They want the next wave of people that's going to pretty much be involved in the workforce. It's going to support their little corrupt scheme they got going on. These dudes ain't knocking women up. They're not going to reproduce. So who's going to be the next generation of workers? You see? And I know they talking about this automated stuff, how everything's going to be automated. That's not happening no time soon. I mean, they're trying to roll that out, but let's be real. They still need people. They still need people to work on the roads to maintain the infrastructure. Who's going to be doing that? See? They're not producing babies like they used to. And this has nothing to do with no anti-natalist stuff, okay? Everyone's not into this anti-natalist stuff. People just don't see the benefits of getting a woman pregnant. All right, you see what's going on. A lot of these guys getting caught up. A lot of these guys getting put on child support and all this. They be with a woman, they break up, and then his ass get put on child support. So a lot of men are waking up to this, and you know, they're just saying, fuck it, why even get involved in all that? I might as well just avoid all that. And that's what's happening. So as a result, you don't see as many pregnant women as you used to. All right, and that trend is just going to keep happening. So I mean, if all this keeps up, what do you think is going to happen? You think we could sustain a society like this? No, we could not. All right, if this keeps up, the trajectory we're going now, if this keeps up, no, we won't be able to maintain this society. We won't be able to sustain it. All right, and that's what I mean when I say it's slowly collapsing. People can argue against this all they want. The telltale signs are there. All right, the telltale signs are there. And like I said, you do your own research, do your own due diligence, you'll see. Because they're not going to come out and plaster this all over the media. They're not going to do that. You'll probably hear a little tidbit here and there, but they're not going to tell you the way I'm telling you what's going on. All right, so who else is feeling the effect of all this? Jewelry stores. Jewelry stores are feeling the effects of this. It's the men that always buy the jewelry for the women, or that's how it used to be anyway. It was always the men that purchase the jewelry for the women, try to court the women and impress the women and all this stuff. That ain't happening no more. That's not happening. They're not making money like they used to. And I always talk about the 90s and all that. I think that was like the pinnacle of things. It's nothing like how it was back then. They're damn near going out of business with these jewelry stores, because men are not buying jewelry for women like they used to, and men aren't marrying women like they used to. Okay, and that's another thing that's collapsing. The marriage rates is down, so the birth rates are down, and people aren't getting married either. See, so all this is tying together. All this is tying together. Okay, the look it up. All right, don't take my word. Do some research. The jewelry stores, like what is it, K Jewelers, places like that, they're not making sales like they used to. They're not, because men aren't going in there purchasing jewelry for women like they used to. They're not doing that. Okay, and men are not proposing, men are not marrying women. So that's why I mean when I say all these guys are they're just pulling back just from society in general. It's not just the workforce. It's just everything that they've been brainwashed into thinking. Working a 9 to 5, courting a woman, getting married, having children. They're pulling back from this in record numbers. They are. And even just a few years ago, like let's say 3, 4, 5 years ago, it wasn't like that then, like it is today. See? So I don't know if they watch a lot of social media, or just based on real life experiences, all these men are just like, you know what, fuck it. That's pretty much what they're saying. All right, they're just saying screw it altogether. So as a result, everything's going down. When men say screw it, you see these companies lose money. Like these jewelry companies, these jewelry stores you see, they lose money when men say screw it. When men don't want to play the game, their revenue goes down. All right, because that's how they made their money. The bulk of their money came from men. But see, men aren't doing what they used to do back in the day. They're not doing what they used to do. So as a result, that's what happens. See? So yeah, it's all across the board. It's all across the board. All these different entities are feeling the effects. The workforce. All right, we got a lot of jobs around here that's hiring because they're understaffed, and a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. There's people looking for jobs, but a lot of people are not looking for jobs too. All right, a lot of these guys, they just want to do their own thing. All right, I told you about the military. Recruiters are struggling because they got a quota to meet. Because matter of fact, when I was actually interested in becoming a recruiter, but there was a recruiter that he told me not to do it because it's very hard. He said, Well, he didn't say it was hard. He said there's a quota you have to meet. You have to meet a quota. So you really have to work to get people to sign up. But the way things are now, shit, you know how hard it would be to get somebody to sign up because no one want to join. No one want to join. So I can only imagine how hard it would be to be a recruiter and try to meet that quota when nobody want to sign up. You see what I mean? So yeah, in other industries, like I said, okay, the jewelry stores, and that's just a few examples. That's just a few examples. Even if you go to the theater, at least in my area, you don't see couples out like you used to. You don't. You'll probably see a dude and his buddies. You see a group of girls and her girlfriends, but like couples like you used to see back in the day, you don't see too much of that anymore. It's actually surprising when you do see a couple out. I'm not gonna lie. If you do see a genuine couple, it's either like an older couple, like 60s or 70s, whatever. Or if you do see a young couple, it's actually like very surprising. Yeah. So the root of this, a lot of guys are they're just pulling back. Yeah, so this is very alarming.